The Arizona State Sun Devil football program is currently in shambles. Hit by NCAA violations due to them breaking recruiting rules during the pandemic led to them firing their head coach at the time, Herm Edwards, and it also led to tons of players transferring out. Coming off two of the worst seasons that they've had in my lifetime, I couldn't think of a better team for my first rebuild on the new game. Plus, they are my alma mater, so it does hurt me to see them this bad. Also, be sure to comment down below what team do you want me to rebuild in the future. And it looks like we're going to be taking over level 21 Chad Butters. Looking over at the right side, it looks like our goal is to win 5 games this year, and that may be easier said than done considering ASU is now in the new look Big 12, meaning they're going to be playing a lot of teams that they're not familiar with. And looking at our schedule, I do believe we could win some games early on in the season, but as we move on into the Big 12 play, we have tons of ranked opponents that we're going to have to play later on in the season. And looking at this roster, there is really nothing special about this team. Pretty much every single position needs an overhaul, but luckily for us, freshman redshirt Sam Levitt could potentially be the future since he's a 76 overall. We'll just have to see how he progresses over the next couple years. But then when you look at something like this, where our best receiver is a 77 overall, and our top 4 ones are all seniors, meaning the next guy up is going to be a 74 overall. This team has a lot of work, and another senior at tight end. This is not good. This team does have a decent amount of freshmen, but it really just depends how good our coaching is to be able to get them to perform to their best ability. And we're going to go ahead and start redshirting players going into next year as well. Now, obviously, recruiting is going to be the most important part of this dynasty, and luckily for us, we're starting out at a 3-star school, and we have a lot of different things that we can be able to use to get recruiting. With campus lifestyle being the best, of course, the party school, come on, along with brand exposure and our conference prestige. This is all really good stuff that we could use. Now, this is my first time officially opening up a dynasty on the new game, so I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. But we're just going to go ahead and throw a whole bunch of players that want to come to our school. And our first player is going to be a broken Jim. What are the odds of that? And this guy has 96 speed, 95 acceleration, 4-star. We're definitely going to start going after this guy. We're already 5th on his board. And getting a Jim for the next player is going to be great. Now, our team needs a lot of players, so I'm not really focusing on any one specific position in the first year, just a whole bunch of different positions. If you look at the top right, ASU is actually starting out with a decent amount of hours per year, because those number of hours being 750 is crucial, because this is what we use for all of our recruiting. And our team needs, going into this first year, we need a lot of positions on both sides of the ball. Look at we pretty much need everything on defense. That's not good. And we just found a gem 5-star cornerback who's actually interested in our school. We're definitely going to pursue this guy really hard. A 5-star gem is going to be crazy to start off. He has 95 speed as well. Now, simulating a week, we can already see where we kind of stand with some players, and we're in the battle for a lot of them after giving them a scholarship, but there's even some players that are already starting to lock us out. And going into the actual season, we have less hours than we did at the beginning, but I'm going to start sitting the house at a lot of these players. And after doing this for a couple weeks, we'll see where we stand with a lot of our prospects, and we're probably going to take a lot of them off our board. We would simulate our first 2 games, and we barely lost to Mississippi State. And so far in recruiting, we're doing pretty well on a lot of the players that we've been wanting. And we're even leading on this 5-star gym, but USC and some other big schools want them, so I know it's going to be really hard for us to get them. And we're really close to getting our first 4-star in this cornerback. We have such a high lead on everyone else. And it's crazy because people have already started committing to schools. They do it early in this game, but hopefully he does commit soon so we can start using our points on other players. And Alani Vernon's going to be our very first commit of the entire rebuild, and I'm really hoping we can get this 4-star athlete Alex Preston, because with stats like this guy could for sure be our quarterback of the future. 92 speed is crazy for a quarterback, and right now we are leading on him, so I'm just going to have to hope that we can keep that lead. And to do that, I'm going to start scheduling visits against Kansas for our next game. And after looking at it a little more, I definitely don't think we have any chance of getting this 5-star cornerback, so I'm probably going to remove him so we can free up some hours for us. And I was able to find a few 4-stars that weren't being recruited by anyone. I'm not even going to scout them and waste the points. I'm just going to hope that they're good, and I'm going to start recruiting them up on a weekly basis. And before he even had to come to our school, we got our 4-star quarterback in Alex Preston, who hopefully will be the future of this program. And we're going to go ahead and jump into our first game of the year against Kansas, as we're going to be having some players come to this game. I gotta say, I am excited to jump into Sun Devil Stadium, and it's a night game in Tempe. This is beautiful. I mean, this stadium just looks so good. Even though it's probably 8 p.m., I'm sure it's still 100 degrees out because it's so damn hot in Arizona. But I think for the games I'm gonna jump into, I'm mainly gonna play all the key moments. I'm still getting used to the gameplay of this game, so if I do not perform well, please give me some slack. But we're gonna give it to Cam Scattaboo, hopefully getting this first 3rd down. We're gonna juke to the left side. We don't even need the juke. We're gonna go out to the outside. We're gonna get a huge gain too. We actually might be able to take it all the way to the house. On the first play, we're so close. I was not expecting that, but it looks like we're going to try to hand it off the middle again. Hopefully getting on the board first. We're going to juke to the inside, and beautiful. What a great way to start. Our stadium pulse is actually pretty good. Man, when the Sun Devil Stadium is filled out, it's absolutely amazing. And on 3rd down, we're going to get the stop. I'm going to run a little risky play here. We're on the goal line. We're going to do a jet pass to Cam Scat. He's our best player on the team, so I definitely like to give him the ball, and we're just going to juke to the inside and another touchdown. We're looking really good. I don't know what's going on. And in the fourth quarter, we find ourselves up 31-3, needing to stop Kansas on a fourth down. Even if they get this, I'm feeling extremely confident that we're going to win this game, but we're going to see what we can do as it's our next moment, and they're going to get it, but that's all right. I am extremely happy with this one, especially because we had a lot of recruits coming to this game, so this is going to be, we're going to look really good after this. And just look at Cam Scat, 218 yards. I love this guy. Hopefully that game leads to more than just DJ Butcher committing. It's a 4-star receiver out of California. We also got Jaquez Downs, another 4-star receiver, and Tremaine Papo. I don't know if I said that right. Another wide receiver from California. I can't even talk. We had so many people commit. That is awesome. And let's add more to it. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, Cam Scadamy. With stats like that, I mean, come on. You've got to be the Player of the Week. So far, we're sitting with the 38th best class in the nation with 3 4-stars and 2 5-stars, with some schools getting a lot more players, which makes me feel a lot worse about our class. But we're looking really good. We're getting a lot of crucial pieces for the future. With all those players committing, we now have 285 free hours. And with that, we're definitely going to start scheduling some players that we're really high on. And of course, if we're able to, we're going to give them a campus tour and let them see that campus lifestyle. And since I forgot to look at this, we're going to go ahead and look at what our coach abilities are. It looks like strategist and recruiter are what we mainly go for. And it looks like mainly on the offensive side of the ball is for our recruiting. Our offensive coordinator looks like he's going for motivator, tactician, and recruiter as well. Our defensive coordinator going for recruiter and master motivator. But I'm not jumping into this game as we're playing against number 5 Utah. And it looks like we actually beat number 5 Utah by 1 point. That's huge. And we do have some coach points, so I think I'm going to put 5 into most influential for offensive linemen, which recruiting actions give a bonus to offensive linemen. And I am tempted to put my last points into quarterback or wide receiver tight end, but we did have a decent amount of wide receivers and a quarterback commit to this class. And we did have a running back as well. And I know for the future we're going to be focusing on offensive line, so I'm going to put my last points into that. Oh, and look at that. Mateo Alvarado, a 4-star tight end, is committed. And that does free up some more points as we're starting to get a decent amount of players that are committed to our team. And we're also still waiting on some other top-level prospects. We're in the fight for this 4-star right end against Texas. And hopefully some of these 3-stars that haven't been recruited yet are gems, because we could definitely use some more linebackers. And we just had a 4-star cornerback commit, and I have no idea how to say that guy's name. Oh, and coming up, we have number 4 Oklahoma State on the road. That's terrible. Now, I do got to say, even though it does take a little bit more time to sit down and actually go through and recruit players, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And halfway through the year, we're sitting at a 4-4 record, and this should be no surprise that we got demolished by Oklahoma State on the road. And with us only having 4 games left of the season, I'm probably going to just jump into this last game to try to get the Territorial Cup from U of A, and I'm so glad they're 1-8. That's beautiful. And with us losing a couple games, our championship contender has dropped all the way down to a D+, meaning this 4-star gym linebacker that no one else is recruiting has a deal breaker and doesn't even want to come to our school now. That sucks so bad. For our championship contender to jump all the way back up to where we need to be, we probably need to win these last 3 games, but I'm only going to play this last game against U of A. After simulating our next 2 games, we would split them, barely losing to BYU, but we did beat ranked Kansas State. So right now, our championship contender is sitting at a C, so if we do win our last game against U of A and win our bowl game, we might be able to get that back up. And if we are able to do that, hopefully we can get it back up to a B-, because no one is still recruiting this 4-star gym linebacker. With us having 10 more coach points, I'm going to start using them on the defensive side of the ball. Next year, I'm definitely going to go heavy into getting defensive players. Now, I don't care what our record is at the end of the season. As long as we beat the Wildcats every year, I will go home happy. Towards the end of the first quarter, our defense has held for the most part, but our offense hasn't been able to do much until this drive here, and we're going to be able to get close. At this point in the game, I just have to take my 3, but I'm still nervous when it comes to kicking in this game. And it looks like we're going to make that tying up the game. And on 3rd and inches, I'm going to go empty backfield. We're definitely passing this ball all the way. And we're going to have a guy on the right side who's going to get close. We're going to risk everything on this play. We have no timeouts, only 6 seconds. We're on the 1-yard line. If we don't get this, we're going to go into halftime. But hopefully we can get it, and thank the Lord. And in the 4th quarter, we're still up by 7 points. And we're going to try to make this the last drive of the game by running it with Cam Scat over and over. And like I said, if we do win this game, I do believe we are bowl eligible, which could help our championship contender tremendously. And killing the clock is exactly what we were able to do, as we won our rivalry game on the road by 7 points. Not a single point from either team was scored in the second half. Our championship contender would go up yet again, and with that win, we would finish 6-6 on the season, which is currently 10th in the Big 12, which isn't the best, but it could be a lot worse. And I am able to fire my offensive and defensive coordinator, and I think just for the fun of it, I think I'm going to fire both of them and hope that we can get better coordinators in the future. And it looks like Carson Beck is your 2024 Heisman Trophy winner, and we are scheduled scheduled to be in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That is perfect. It's also time to take a look at the offensive and defensive coordinators that we have available to us. And after taking a look at the offensive coordinators, I think I'm going to go for Josh Gates from Hawaii. He is being looked at by some other big schools, but we're going to hope that he comes to ours. And I'm not exactly sure how big prestige is in this game when it comes to coaching. Because, for example, this guy is a level 24 defensive coordinator, which is the most out of any defensive coordinator available. But his prestige is a D+, but I think I'm still going to offer him just based on his levels alone. He also has 3 different things in Motivator, Architect, and Scheme Guru, which we do not have ourselves. And considering Kennesaw State's the only school offering him, we're going to try to get him too. It is also early National Signing Day when we can take a look at all the players that have signed. We actually have a decent amount of players that have committed to our program, and we do still have some that we're going after that we're really close to getting as well. And it looks like we were able to get both of those coaches, which is amazing. The only problem is Josh Gates does not fit our offensive scheme because he's run and shoot. He also has 4 different trees open and available to him. That's really good, actually. And for the rest of the rebuild, I'm going to roll with this coaching staff. We do have more coaching points, and I'm going to continue putting into the defensive side of the ball when it comes to recruiting. But it is time to jump into our last game of the season. Even though Syracuse is 9-3, we are a higher overall than them. Oh, those jerseys look so good. I mean, come on. They look amazing. Now, being down by 7 with a minute left in the first half is not ideal, but we're going to try to go down and score. And we're going to have a guy on the right side, and it's actually going to be caught, and he may be gone if he has enough speed, and he might just get caught right before we're going to get close enough, and I can't believe we scored on that. Yo, what is he doing? Now, Syracuse would score right before the half, which means we're down by 7 yet again, but we're going to try to tie the game up right here by giving it to Cam Scat. And this is his last game as an ASU Sun Devil, which makes me really sad. This team come next year is going to look completely different, and I'm not ready for that. But we do have a lot of good prospects coming in, so I'm definitely excited to see how they progress. And that is a beautiful throw. That throw would put us up by 7, and in the 4th quarter on 3rd down, we need a crucial 3rd down stop, and they're going to run out of the Wildcat, and we're going to get the sack. And from that point on, we have taken control of this game as we're up by 14 points. And on 4th and 10, if we get the stop here, that's definitely the game, and hopefully they throw underneath. They're going to test him over the top, and that's a knockdown. We're going to win this game. Just like that, we have won the Pop-Tart Bowl. I really hope the Pop-Tart comes out and we get to take a bite out of it, with Cam Scat having a great into his senior season. And this will definitely give us a lot of momentum going into the next season. From that game, we'd have a 4-star tight end commit, but our championship contender rating did not go up to a B-. And in case you're wondering, this is what the college football playoff bracket looks like, with Notre Dame winning the national championship. And it looks like we actually have a decent amount of players that do want to transfer out. I was able to convince 4 of those players to stay, and like I said, this is my first rebuild, so I wasn't paying too much attention to the transfer portal, which is something that I definitely should have looked at. When it comes to seniors, we do have a decent amount of players leaving, including my favorite player on the team. And with our championship contender not going up, we are not going to get this 4-star gem at middle linebacker, unfortunately. But the transfer portal is officially opened up, and we're going to try to get some big players. Now, heading into the offseason, we only had 10 prospects that committed, but after the last couple weeks, we had 11 more commit. And this class is looking pretty good, with 7 4-stars committing to our team, including what I'm hoping to be as the future of this team in Alex Preston at quarterback. And he'll have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball, as we had 2 4-star tight ends and 2 4-star wide receivers also commit in this class. Overall, I would say that this first year of recruiting went pretty well. And looking at training results, our best player is only an 86 overall, so this team hasn't progressed too much from last year, but we're going to need our freshmen to develop. And it looks like we got some pretty decent freshmen with tons of 74 plus players. And Alex Preston is a 76 overall, and I think I'm going to start him over Sam Levitt right away. Right now, our running back room is looking pretty decent, and hopefully these receivers can develop into some really good players. Along with these 3 freshman tight end that we have, they're going to have to share some playing time. I hope they don't transfer out. Going into our second year with the team, hopefully we can improve upon our 7-6 record along with our bowl win last season. And when it comes to recruiting, we're mainly focused on the defensive side of the ball by trying to get tons of linebackers along with defensive linemen. But we do have some skill positions sprinkled in there, and we have 2 5-star receivers that are interested in our school to start off things. This is what our schedule looks like going into next season, and it looks like at the top that we went up to an 86 overall across the board. And I did change our first game so that we're playing an FCS school to start things off. And the main reason for that is because I'm going to be starting freshman quarterback Alex Preston right off the gate. Also, if these 2 get hurt, we're screwed because we have a 15 overall kicker that would step in for him. Only having 2 quarterbacks on the roster is not good at all. But Alex Preston is hopefully going to be the future of this program. But honestly, looking at things, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to level up that much more. So we're going to definitely need to upgrade some stuff with our coaches. And that does make me a little worried after seeing this. Maybe we'll recruit another quarterback just in case. And going into year number 2, we definitely do have some things that are pretty solid when it comes to our school. But when it comes to pro potential, we have the lowest possible grade at D- for that. And our 3rd lowest grade is championship contender, but we saw last season just how easily that fluctuates. With us having 30 coaching points following our offseason, I'm going to unlock tactician and start putting points into that. Now it looks like all the abilities do basically the same thing, so I'm definitely going to upgrade our quarterback, and I could upgrade him several times over. And I think I might do it all the way. With that, we're instantly tier 4, which boosts short and medium accuracy along with tons of other things. And with those upgrades, our quarterback already went up 4 overalls. And I know his wide receivers aren't the best in terms of overall, but this is a young wide receiving room. And our first game of the season is against FCS East Astronauts. So I definitely wasn't planning on jumping into that game, but I do want to look at what Alex Preston did. And it looks like he was 16 for 23 with 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not a bad first game. And it looks like our running back dominated with 10 yards per carry that game. And just because I think this is interesting, this is the Heisman watch, and we currently have a free safety in the top 5 Heisman voters. That's definitely not going to last, but I thought it was interesting to point out. I just realized that our pro potential is so bad that we're ranked 132nd in the entire nation. But look at that, 133 U of A, screw you guys. And if you guys did notice, before going into conference play, we are currently 3-0. Now, things may change drastically when we hit our conference, especially considering Iowa State is currently ranked 3rd in the nation and Utah's ranked top 10. And we would have 2 bye weeks in a row, which would help get us our first commit of the year. And we'd follow that up with another left guard, as well as another right end. But thankfully, in this other 5-star receiver, Aiden, we are leading just barely over USC, and he is scheduled to visit this week. And honestly, we're in the fight with USC on a lot of these players. And hopefully we can keep our undefeated season alive against our first Big 12 opponent of the season. And along with the 5-star, we also have a couple other players visiting. I honestly feel like me jumping into these games doesn't really help the team that much because I'm still getting used to the play of this game. But come on, those jerseys look so good. I'm going to probably say that at least 10 more times this video. Now, so far this game has been back and forth, and I got to remember that this team looks drastically different compared to last season, with the new quarterback and running back leading the way, as well as a couple skill position players. And we're going to see if Preston has wheels, and I remember he does have 92 speed, so we're definitely going to use that to our advantage. That drive would stall out, and in the second half, we're currently down by 9 points, and we need to score a touchdown on this possession to keep this thing interesting, and we're going to keep it up the middle with this one. Now, I do believe Raleek Brown, our current impact player, was a transfer from USC, so we're going to try to get him the ball several times because he is a good player. Now, it's 3rd and inches, and we do have a pass play right now, but I'm probably going to scramble out to the outside if I can, and we're going to have a lane. And we do have a guy open, but I'm just going to take the easy touchdown. Ooh, look at Preston getting jiggy with it. And we find ourselves down by 6 points late in the 4th. We need a last-second touchdown drive, and we're going to try to kill the clock while we do this, but we need to make sure we get that touchdown at the end of this drive. And with 2 minutes left in the game, we're going to try to take a shot here, hopefully being able to take the lead. We're going to see. I'm just going to take off up the middle. They keep leaving it open. I'm going to keep taking it. Maybe setting ourselves up for failure by killing so much clock, but I don't want West Virginia having much of a chance, because if we get a touchdown, we're only going to be up by 1 point, and we're going to have a guy open, and he just hold on to the ball. Just get down. I'm fine with that. I'm going to try to spread things out on the offense, which means hopefully the middle of the field might be open. They did move their nose tackle there, but we're going to give it to the Raleek Brown and just hope he gets up the middle, and we're going to get the touchdown. This is amazing. But our defense would give up 2 huge plays back to back, and they would go on to kick the game-winning field goal. And with us only having 1 play, we're just going to hope that there's a break in coverage, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. We have a guy open, and the throw is on the money. As long as he can make the... Oh my gosh, I can't believe we just won that. I can't believe it. What a throw by Alex Preston to the sophomore Caleb Black on the right side. I lost what I was saying at the end of that because I could not believe we actually pulled it off. And we absolutely deserve this win because on simulation, they almost screwed us. No wonder he's the player of the game. We are now 4-0 in the season. And it looks like we have 5-star receiver Aiden Dreisbach. I don't know how to say his name. Dreisbach. I have no idea. Along with a 4-star center. What a great week that was, getting 2 of our top prospects on our board. That win does now put us at number 3 in the conference, but I don't think that's going to last long. Mainly because we've yet to play our toughest games. Simulating our next week, we would have a 4-star linebacker commit, along with a 4-star guard and a 3-star defensive tackle. And why stop there? We have a 4-star cornerback too. That was another great week of recruiting. We're killing it right now. Our undefeated season would officially end against TCU, though we only lost by 3 points. I always think that I'm doing really well in recruiting, and we do have a top 20 class right now. But when I look at schools like Miami with 3 5-stars and Notre Dame with 16 4-stars, it just makes you think, what am I doing this for? Now, looking at our risking of transfers, we do have a decent amount of players that do want to leave, but we can't do much about it when it comes to pro potential because we just need players that go into the draft and get picked up. And after simulating a couple more weeks, we would have another right tackle commit to us, as we're currently sitting at a 5-2 record because we would beat Houston but lose to Texas Tech. And when it comes to the Big 12, it doesn't look like we stand much of a chance because we're currently sitting at 8, even though we have a 5-2 record, which is crazy. So I'm probably going to simulate a lot of the games to end of the season. And our season really fell off from there, as we have lost the last 3 games going into our last game against U of A. And with us losing 3 straight games, our championship contender went down to a C, meaning 5 different 4-star players have locked us out, even though we were going to get a couple of them. And with us only having having a max of 2 games, I don't think we're going to be able to get that to where it needs to be at a B-. But we're going to jump into rivalry week against U of A, even though in the grand scheme of things, this game does not mean that much. Jumping into late in this game, we have less than 2 minutes to drive down the field and get a field goal, considering we're only down by 2 points, and hopefully we're able to do that. And I'm going to try to keep things on the ground first, so getting a huge scramble to the outside, and our guy got in the way. That's okay. Big play to start off things. Now, we do have all 3 of our timeouts, and since we're already on the other side of the field, I'm going to slow things down and try to run the ball a little bit with Raleek Brown. And actually, Raleek Brown isn't in the game because he dislocated his ankle and is out for 8 weeks. That's probably, and our backup running back is as well. Now, the Wildcats are smart, and they are using their timeouts because they know we're trying to kill a lot of clock, so we're going to keep running the ball and try to keep making them use their timeouts over and over. And on this play, we're going to go big or go home. I do kind of want to scramble out, but we'll see if we have anyone open before I do that. We're going to hold on to the ball, and we do have a guy on the right side who does have a step, but it's going to be just out of reach. Now, it all comes down to this kick, and I really got to focus for this one. We're going to get a pretty good one that should be in, and we're going to be up by 1. And just like that on sim, yet again, they drive right down the field, and they score a touchdown in only 20 seconds. I should have known not to trust the defense after what happened last year. We are in the exact same position where we need to drive down and get a touchdown to win the game. We're going to try to get a quick pass here, and that's going to be the end of it. What a terrible way to end the season. And I tell you what, it never feels good losing to your rival, especially when you give up that many points at the end of the game. Well, we started our season at a 6-2 record and finished the year with 4 straight losses, which absolutely destroyed a lot of our potential. And for my surprise, Kyron Drones, the quarterback out of Virginia Tech, won the Heisman. We are yet again bowl eligible and playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl in Orlando. But before doing that, I want to look at the stats for the year. And Alex Preston had a decent first season, but he did throw a lot of interceptions. And before dislocating his ankle, Raleek Brown was our best player on offense. And receiving, our freshman DJ Butcher actually got over 1,000 yards. That's really big. On the defensive side of things, Tate Romney led our team in tackling by over 20 tackles. And we had no one with over 1 interception this year. That's terrible. And before we go into the offseason, we're currently sitting with the 36th best class in the nation with 12 total recruits. Since we already played in this last season, I'm going to go ahead and simulate this game. And we would finish the season with 5 straight losses, including a blowout loss to Virginia. This season went terrible towards the end. Now, we do have a decent amount of points, so I did upgrade our blocking twice. I think the next thing I'm going to do is upgrade our linebackers as well. Now, our coach tree is starting to go into 3 different branches, and I think I'm going to start focusing on tactician a little more frequently. And I do have the ability to fire my staff, but I'm definitely going to hold on to them. And our pro potential, along with our championship contender, is not looking good. Raleek Brown is also at risk of transferring out. I hope he stays for his senior year. And it looks like Georgia is back on top as they defeated Alabama in the College Football Playoff National Championship. This is the moment of truth. We're going to try to get some of our players, and it looks like I don't see Raleek Brown's name, so we're going to have him for 1 more year. And after using all of our persuasion, we were only able to get 2 players to stay on the team, and all of the rest of them are transferring out. Since we're in the offseason, the transfer portal has officially opened up, and because of some of our deal breakers being coach stability and championship contender, as a lot of players don't want to come to our school because those are their deal breakers as well. Following the transfer portal and National Signing Day, we ended up finishing with the 26th best class by signing 24 total players with a 5-star leading the way. Overall, this recruiting board looks pretty decent. Most of it was designed to fill the gaps that we have at certain positions, and I'm hoping this 5-star receiver turns into something special. But like I said, we spent most of this time focusing on the offensive line, and we were able to get tons of offensive linemen. We got way too many of them actually, along with getting several defensive lineman players, and hopefully the linebackers that we signed turn into something, because we definitely need more. Now right now we don't have that many players that want to transfer out, and hopefully we could have a better season this year, because we definitely regressed a little bit from that last season. And it looks like with training results, Raleek Brown is by far our best player, being the only 90 overall. And right now in our quarterback room, Sam Levitt is still above Alex Preston, but I think I'm still going to start Preston. And in a couple of years, I think our receiving room is going to be insane. Along with our tight ends, we have 4 sophomores, and our offensive line is nothing to write home about, but it's pretty good across the board. And our cornerback room is stacked with tons of players, and this can also be one of the highlights of this team, with no seniors really being here besides this guy all the way down here. Free safety and strong safety will be kind of the same. This team, honestly, in a couple years may be the best team. And this conference does keep getting tougher and tougher, but looking at some of these overalls, we stack up pretty well, considering we're going into next year still at an 86 overall, but our offense did slightly improve. And this is what our schedule looks like going into the 3rd season. I do think we have a chance to contend for the conference championship, but it really only truly depends on how lucky we are in simulation. Now when it comes to team needs, the game does think we need a lot of players, but honestly we have a lot of freshmen and sophomore in a lot of these positions, so I'm not worried too much. But I do know for a fact my main focus is going to be linebackers. I do really like how it has the top players on the right side of the screen. It makes it a lot easier to kind of decide what you want to go after in the offseason. Something we do absolutely need to focus on though is special teams, as our kicker and punter are both seniors and they're leaving this year. And I am going to redshirt our new new 5-star receiver and hope that he progresses. I hope he doesn't transfer out because there's a lot of people ahead of him on the depth chart. And to my surprise, we've already had this 3-star kicker commit. I didn't know that there was instant commit in this game, but I offered him a scholarship and he instantly committed. Now, when it comes to the recruiting, I'm definitely going to cut my losses earlier than I have before to try to save on more points. I think that a lot of the top talent that I have on my board, I'm probably going to remove because we have a lot of schools going after these guys as well. Now, with that being said, I am still going to test my luck and see if we can get some players like Emmett Flowers, along with TJ Donahue, because they are from Arizona, so we may have a good chance of getting them. Taking a look at our overall, we're sitting at a decent spot with an 86. And when looking at the rest of the schools in the Big 12, I think we actually stack up really well against them, and we may be the highest overall, actually. I think we're tied with TCU at 86 overall, but we'll see how we do with this schedule when it comes to simulating, because that's a completely different ball game. Yeah, and speaking of luck simulating, we lost to Eastern Michigan at home for the first game, so that's a terrible way to start the season. And 4 games in, we're currently sitting at a 2-2 record, so I don't really know how we're going to do the rest of the year. I'm not expecting to really compete for too much. And we would finally have our first commit of the season, Emmett Flowers, 4-star out of Chandler, Arizona. And right now, we are doing pretty well in terms of recruiting. We've had several players commit, and hopefully, if all goes well, we're going to get a lot of players by the end of this class, but we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I'm getting too ahead of myself. And we would have 3 more players commit to our program. Even though they are 3-stars, these 2 linemen at the top are gems, meaning that they should play like 4-star players. And we do have more coach skill points, so I think I'm going to completely max out our blocking the tactician category. Honestly, since we already have a lot of points in the recruiting, I may use all of my points in the future in the tactician because it does boost all of our players' overalls, and I think that's a really good thing to have. And after simulating another week, we had 3 more 4-star players commit to our school. Off the field, we're doing really good in recruiting, but when it comes to on the field, we are still losing a decent amount of games. So we're sitting at a 3-3 record, and I don't think we're going to compete for a Big 12 conference championship. Yeah, we're sitting at 11th in the Big 12 right now. There's no way. And so far, halfway through the season, we already have 8 prospects committed. That's not a whole bunch, but it's definitely pretty good, especially because I'm still getting used to recruiting. And with several recruits scheduled to visit this week, we're going to hop into this game against the Cyclones. Now, even though we haven't progressed too much in terms of winning games, I am excited for the future of this team because we do have a lot of good players that are still developing. Along with Raleek Brown, this is his last year with the team because he is a senior. And what I just realized is that Sam Levitt has been starting this entire season because I forgot to put Alex Preston over him in the depth chart. I'm definitely going to fix that from now on. And maybe that's why we're sitting at a 3-3 record. I don't know what we would be if we put in Alex Preston, but we're going to fix that through the rest of the season and see how we do. I'm going to use his legs, though, and hopefully get on the outside, and we're going to get a touchdown taking the lead. And one of the things that I haven't figured out yet, really, is playing defense in this game. It's extremely difficult, and if on 3rd down, we are going to get the stop, forcing the incompletion. Now, unfortunately, even when I jump into these games, it's not a guaranteed win like it was on NCAA 14 because we are struggling big time. And I'm just going to try to run up the middle and get the first, and we're going to get stopped just short. That may be the game. On 4th down, we are still down 2 scores, so we need to get something big here. We're going to have a guy open over the middle. It's going to be Tyson, and we may have a big play if we get the block, and we're going to get to the outside, getting into the red zone. For this play, I'm going to be looking at Tyson on the left side for doing man-to-man, but they're not. We're going to have the other guy open over the middle, and he makes that catch, and he dropped it. I'm going to be looking at that slant over the middle to Butcher, and hopefully we can hit him. And he is going to be open. He just needs to make the catch, and we got the touchdown. We are still in this, and our defense was able to get a stop. So with 2 minutes left in the game, we're only down by 2 points. If we play this correctly, I'm not going to even say anything. I don't want to jinx myself. But on the first play, we're going to have a big play over the top to Butcher. And with that play, I'm definitely going to rely on our best player, Raleek Brown, to get us some better field position for a field goal. We do need a first down still to try to make them use all their timeouts. And we're going to get a huge play. Great blocking. It ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to keep things on the ground again. I'm hoping we can get a score or get a touchdown. We have perfect blocking. That was just amazing. And somehow, only a couple plays later, they get another touchdown. I don't know what happens on sim, but they always give up huge plays. Well, just like that, we're back in the position that we were just in. We can get a field goal to tie this game up. But we're going to need another big play on first down. We're going to have Butcher over the middle yet again, getting another big play. Now, in order for us to make a field goal, I want to get a lot closer. I still do not really trust myself when it comes to this, but we're going to have a guy wide open. It's going to be Butcher yet again, and we may get to the end zone. Perfect juke move to the outside. I don't know what's happening in this game. They definitely had a break in coverage because that guy should not have been that wide open. Dance, Sparky, dance. All right, considering on sim we give up big plays every single time, I'm going to see what I can do jumping in on the defense. My defense is not the best, but if we can give up some small plays, looks like they're going for a Hail Mary almost right off the gate. They do have one more timeout, though, so I'm not surprised they took that check down. And I think they're going for a Hail Mary. This could be the last play of the game if it takes long enough. I want them to take that check down. We are getting pressure, and we're going to get the sack. That's going to be the game. And with all the recruits that we have coming to this game, look at that 4th quarter. We just turned everything up a notch. Like I was saying, with all the recruits coming to this game, this is a huge win for us. And look at DJ Butcher, insane game, and he's only a sophomore. And it looks like that game definitely helped as we have a 4-star running back commit, 4-star quarterback who we may not need, but I wanted to pick up anyways. I gotta say, I love these little graphics that show in between games. DJ Butcher was the NCAA Player of the Week. That is great stuff. We would lose our next game on the road against ranked Cincinnati, but it was only by 1 score. But we do have 2 more ranked opponents coming up back to back. And at the last minute, some big schools are going to come in and swoop in some of our biggest prospects. We are currently sitting at a 6-5 record. We just can't seem to get over that hump, but we are at least bowl eligible. We're going to go ahead and jump into our last game of the season, even though this game isn't really much more than just bragging rights. And so far in this game, we have not been doing that well as we find ourselves down by multiple possessions in the second half, but we're going to try to cut into that deficit right now with Raleek Brown up the middle. And after getting a stop and driving all the way down the field, we're going to be able to go all the way down and tie this thing up. And we are currently driving down. We're going to hand it off to Raleek because he is our best player. He has a seam to the left side, and he's going to be too quick. He's going to get it there for sure. I'm going to miss this guy so much when he graduates. And they are driving down right now. We're going to try to get a stop on the right side. We're going to get the interception, and there's green grass in front of us. There's no way they're stopping us. We're going to get the win again. It's always a great season when you beat U of A. This is a great way to cap off our year. Man, it looks like the entire Big 12 has struggled with the best team being 9-3, but the conference record, 6-3 is the best record. We were actually close to competing for the Big 12 championship, just based on conference standings alone. And in case you're wondering, senior quarterback Ty Simpson has won the Heisman at Alabama. And it looks like we're playing against number 14 ranked Nevada in our bowl game. Now, on paper, this does look winnable, but they are ranked top 15 in the nation, so I should take them seriously. But I do have some more points to spend, so I think I'm going to boost our linebacker rating, which is going to boost their man and zone coverage. And I think the next thing I want to work on is upgrading our defensive line. So I'm going to go ahead and put 5 into defensive line rating boost 1. Now, this game doesn't mean much, but if we do win, we will be up to 8 wins, which is the most that we've done through a season. We're going to try to take the lead back from them right here. And with this being the last game for the seniors, I'm definitely going to miss players like Raleek Brown because I know every time I give him the ball, he's going to do something with it. Now, I know they're expecting run here, so I'm going to try to throw it over the top. And it looks like we have DJ Butcher. As long as they make that throw, we got him. DJ Butcher is so good. I'm so glad he's a sophomore. He's going to be amazing in a couple years. We're going to stun on him too. And with that, we have reached our 8th win of the season, which is our best year so far. And Raleek Brown in his last game as a Sun Devil is the player of the game. I'm going to miss him so much. Now, that definitely was a good way to end the 3rd season, and hopefully going into year 4, we could build upon those 8 wins and get even more. And it looks like Georgia dominated Oregon to win the national championship. They win it so often. In terms of players leaving, we only have 1 that wants to transfer. We do have our starting cornerback who's a 90 overall that wants to go into the draft, and we're going to try to persuade him to stay. Hopefully we can, and yeah, we're going to lose him to the draft. Thankfully, though, with him and hopefully Raleek Brown getting drafted, though, our pro potential will rise a little bit, but it's definitely going to suck. It's going to be hard filling that hole there. And we had 4 players get drafted. We're finally starting to produce some talent that can make it to the next level. I'm definitely going to miss Bradley and for sure Raleek Brown. He went to the 2nd round. Should have been first, whatever. On the season stats, though, it looked like Sam Levitt actually had a better first half of the season compared to Alex Preston's second half of the season. And in terms of rushing, Raleek Brown was able to get over 1,000 rushing yards and 10 total touchdowns. And in terms of receiving, Caleb Black and DJ Butcher were our top 2 players, and thankfully they'll be back next season. Honestly, most of these players are sophomores or juniors, besides Jordan Tyson, who we did lose as well. And in terms of defense, Brian Iacivas, I have no idea if I said that right, had 100 tackles on the year and 3 interceptions. What a great year. He's only a sophomore too. Oh man, we're looking good for the future. And I think our pro potential did level up after those draft picks. And if you do notice, we are now a 3.5-star school, which is the first time we've been above 3 stars. So if you take a look at the top right, we have more hours than normal per week to use. But because it is the offseason, we do have a lot more than we should. Before going into the full offseason, I'll look at the class now. We currently have 13 players and 7 of them are 4 stars, which I think is by far the most that we've had so far. And if things go our way, we could get even more before the season's over. And advancing the final week, hopefully we get all the rest of the people that were on our board. We're starting it off pretty good with a lot more players, and I think our class this year may be our best class just based on talent alone. I didn't scout a decent amount of the players because I was focused on just getting as many as we could, and we definitely did get a lot of players. And with that, we did sign a top 20 class by signing 25 prospects, with 10 of them being 4 stars. Honestly, I don't know how we're supposed to compete with people getting 4 5 stars and 27 4 stars. Like, how is it even possible? Not to mention Georgia had 1 more than them at 28. I don't know how we're supposed to compete with that, but we're just going to focus on the Big 12. And in taking a look at the Big 12, we did actually finish with the best class in our conference, just 1 spot ahead of TCU. I'm honestly surprised they didn't finish ahead of us, considering they had more commits, 1 5-star and 6 more 3-stars and a 2-star. But I'm not going to complain about it. Maybe it's the talents that we got, and hopefully some of these players that we got can definitely help us in the long run. Now, taking a look at training results, this is really going to tell us how good our team is, and we finally have several players over 90 overall, including Sam Levitt, our quarterback. With Alex Preston only being at an 84, he hasn't progressed much since we got him, and Sam Levitt's at a 91, so I think I'm going to roll with him for this season. Honestly, this roster is looking really good. We do have a lot of seniors towards the top, but look at this freshman center, 86 overall. This guy's going to be a monster in a couple years. We do have a pretty balanced team, and we are sitting at an 87 overall across the board. And I'm going to continue upgrading our players at tactician. I'm going to fully rank out our defensive line rating boost, and I think I'm going to start upgrading our defensive backs next. But it's now time to fill our recruiting board yet again, and it's nice to see that throughout this rebuild, our interest with prospects has grown tremendously, as we have pretty much a green category for every single interest besides coach stability, but that's just going to come with time. And we're even getting the likes of a 5-star quarterback that's interested in coming to our school. We're definitely going to throw him on our board. Taking a look at what we need this year, we need a lot of players. For the offensive line, I'm not too worried about it. It does say we need them, but I know we have a lot of offensive linemen. And when it comes to defense, honestly, our weak point is our linebackers. We do have a decent amount of them, but there's none of them that are really good besides our middle linebacker that is an 86 overall. And this is what our schedule looks like going into year number 4. And honestly, there's nothing too different than normal. We do play ranked number 9 Kansas State, though, to start off conference play, so I might jump into that one, but we'll see how we are when we get there. And again, when it comes to looking at other teams in the Big 12, we do currently have the best overall, sitting at 87. But the biggest decision that we're going to make going into this year is starting Sam Levitt, and it looks like senior running back Kyson Brown will be leading the way. And the receiving room is still nothing to write home about. We do have some decent speed across the board, but no one with a high overall. But at least when it comes to tight ends, Mateo Alvarado has developed amazingly, as he's a 91 overall. Honestly, to me, when looking at this team, I think that our defense holds us back the most. We do have some good defensive players, but I think our linebackers, even though there are decent players, there's none that are really great. But when taking a look at every position group, we have decent players at every single level. Besides our kicker, we currently have a 62 overall kicker. That is actually horrible. I think I'm going to start our punter instead of our kicker, but still, 65 is nothing better. And these will be some of the players that we're going to be registering throughout this year. And a lot of these players were the 4-stars that we did get in our last class, but I'm going to try to let them progress as much as they possibly can. That's why I'm redshirting them, along with a lot of these players down here as well. Honestly, one of the biggest things in terms of recruiting is knowing when to cut your losses, and I am putting some points in some close battles, and I think I might do the same here for Soma Crook. But when it comes to some of these other guys that are getting high influence from other teams, there's no way we're going to compete, and I might as well remove them. Otherwise, I'm just going to waste my time. And after simulating our first game against the FCS school, we would beat them by 29, and somehow that win would actually propel us to the top 25 for the first time, I think, this entire rebuild. So we're finally starting to get that acknowledgement that we need from the rest of the committee. And after simulating 3 games, we would somehow lose this game to Eastern Michigan. I have no idea how that happened. I think I'm definitely going to jump into this game to start off conference play against number 3 Kansas State. This is going to be a tough game. And this entire season rides on that man right there, Sam Levitt. And it is great to see a sold-out stadium. This is a big game for us, even if we lost that last one. If we can keep things going and at least get this win, this will be a great way to start off conference play. And our first possession has been going well so far, as we've driven all the way down to the red zone. We're going to try to get him underneath with this throw here. If he makes the catch and get a first down, we're close. That was DJ Butcher that made that last pass, and I know he's going to be crucial to our success this year, but we're going to hand it off up the middle like we normally do in the red zone, and we're going to go up first. Great way to start. It's so great to see all like the crowd jumping up and down for touchdowns and stuff too. This game is so good. And after our defense got a stop, our offense is yet again moving the ball down the field, and we're going to go up multiple possessions, just barely. Now, after scoring on 4 of our first 5 possessions, this game has pretty much been all Sun Devils this entire way. And we're looking really good. We're going to have another guy down the field, and we're barely going to make that throw. That was risky. But if we can cap off this drive with another touchdown, I think this game's going to be out of reach. This will be our best win that we've had of this dynasty so far, and we're going to do just that. Now, we would give up some points at the end of the game, but this is easily our best win that we've had so far. And Sam Levitt had himself a game. Not only would that game impress our fans, but we had some top-level talent committed. We had a 4-star tight end. But the tough games don't end there, as Utah is ranked 9th coming into Tempe, and I think I'm going to play this game as well. Before doing that, I do have more points that I could put into coach abilities, and like I said, I'm going to fully max out our defensive backs, so we're going to boost our man coverage and pursuit along with their catch and jumping. And right now, our defense should be doing a lot better on every side. But like I said, we are going to jump into this game against Utah, and I think I'm going to play a lot more games this season, especially because our team is really good, and we're going to be losing a lot of our good players after this year. But I think we could have a real chance, and oh my, that was a terrible way. First play on offense, that's terrible. As I was saying, I think we have a really good chance at making the conference championship if we do play more games this year, but that was not a good way to start off against Utah. Let's try to get a stop on defense now. And on 3rd and 1, we're going to run commit. If they do pass here, they're probably going to get a touchdown, but I just have to go for the run commit, and we're going to stop them short, hopefully kicking a field goal. All right, hopefully we have a better drive than that last one, which I don't know how it could get any worse than that just did, unless we get sacked here. Well, great start to the game so far. All right, we're going to try to avoid what happened on that last possession. We're going to pass here. There's nothing. I'm going to roll to the right side. We do have a guy open and just barely going to reach him. I think he's going to be able to outrun him. We're going to score back, get the lead. Brown, we needed that from you. Good job. And ever since that first drive that resulted in a fumble on our first play, we have had no problem driving down the field. We're going to go up by multiple possessions. And in the second half, we have a chance to extend our lead even more, but we need a 4th down conversion first, and we're just barely going to get it. Wow, I can't believe we actually got that. And maybe I need to just start jumping into these games because our team plays really good, and we did a halfback direct snap, and that's going to catch them off guard. We're definitely winning this game. And another absolutely dominating victory against a top 10 opponent. I have no idea how this team lost to Eastern Washington. And former Michigan State quarterback Sam Levitt is having himself a year here at ASU. That game would impress several prospects as we had 3 4-star commits, including 1 3-star linebacker. We are still out of the top 25 because of our bad loss against Eastern Washington, but I'm not too worried about that right now. My biggest priority for this year is trying to make the Big 12 championship, and I think we have a really good chance of being able to do that. But in order to do that, we're definitely have to start winning some games when I simulate, and based on that, I think we did win our game, and we definitely did because we find ourselves ranked 18th in the nation right now, sitting at 5-1. We would beat Baylor by 15, which does give me a lot of hope, and we do have some tough games coming up with number 3 Colorado, but we have to focus on Houston and West Virginia before we even get to that game. Now, after simulating a couple more weeks, we would beat Houston and West Virginia, and we would have even more prospects commit to our team. And it's time for another game against a top 10 opponent as we're facing Colorado at their place, and we're looking for another big win. As much as I do love playing in Tempe, I do like playing on the road because I get to see other schools' stadiums, and I think the Buffaloes have a really good one. Sorry, I can't talk. I was focusing on that run. I have been noticing ever since we started upgrading our coach a whole bunch in tactician, we're starting to get a lot more blocks than we used to, and even getting some stiff arms and stuff. And luckily for us, I don't think Travis Hunter or Shadur Sanders are still at Colorado, and our offensive line has helped us get all the way down the field, and we're just going to push this off with our running back. Yeah, we're going to go up early. This is beautiful. And I have noticed that I'm definitely starting to get a feel for how this game should be played. We're going to run the ball here. I know they're kind of committing to this, but we're just going to run it with our offensive line. And yeah, we're going to get another touchdown. And it's all because of that man, Kyson Brown. He has been killing it this year. And from that point in the game, we have been dominating on both sides of the ball. And as long as we don't have a super big blunder to end this game, we are probably going to go on for another win. We need to get the stop here. And they would score to end the game, but it doesn't matter. Sam Levitt has just been tearing it up through these top 10 teams all year. That win would jump us up to number 7 in the top 25 rankings. And with that, we're also sitting number 1 in the conference, just above TCU, who does have a pretty good record. And I'm just going to hope that through simulating, we're still able to win these games. But of course, it was going to hit us eventually as we ended up losing to BYU at home, dropping us to number 12. And now we are number 2 in the Big 12, just behind TCU. And with the ranked game against Cincinnati coming up, I think we're going to have to step into this one as well. Now, this game has gone completely different than our other ranked matchups as we're currently down in the 4th quarter, and we need to get this 4th down conversion if we want to stay in this thing. And we're going to get it with Kyson Brown. Thank you. Now, for the majority of this game, it has been a defensive showdown, but I do not want to give up anything less than a field goal. And because I don't have much trust in our defense to get a stop if we score a touchdown here, I'm going to start chewing the clock. We do need to get a 1st down here to keep this drive alive, and we're going to be able to go to the outside. Honestly, I don't care if we get stopped, but we're going to get the touchdown. That's fine. We did leave a lot more time than I wanted to, though. And our defense gave up a touchdown almost immediately. I don't know what it is with simming towards the end of the game, but defense gives up points almost every single time, and even when I step in, I can't get a stop, so it's not like that would be doing any better. And on a crucial 3rd down, I think I'm going to roll to the right side. We do have a guy open over the top. Does he have the space? He does. We are going to leave a little too much time on the clock, but we can't not take this touchdown. And I already know I'm going to have to play every single oh my gosh, and on the first play, they're going to get a huge play over the top. And they're going to break the tackle. Remember when I said it wasn't any better if I stepped into the game? We're going to try to get a stop now. They do still have a ways to go. They're going to have a guy over the middle, and just like that, there is literally no point in me stepping in on defense, but at least on offense, I could hopefully make a difference, and we're going to need another touchdown to try to win this game. And they're going to leave the middle wide open. I'm just going to take what I can get right now. We still need at least a field goal. And luckily for us, we do have tons of time and 3 timeouts if we do need them. I'm not going to think we're going to need them. I'm going to take off and get pretty close here, though. And I think they're expecting a run, so I may go for the pass play here. We're going to have to make it a quick one because they're going to be sitting in pressure quick. We're going to run to the right side. We have no one. We're going to throw it back over the middle, make the catch. And we took the lead again. This game is insane. I may be regretting this, but I'm jumping into the game. I don't know how they have the ball at midfield already. We just can't give up a touchdown. Perfect to get interception, and we may even get a pick 6. It doesn't matter because we're going to win this game. This was way too much of a sweat fest. Wow, that was an insanely close game. That we definitely needed that win, though. That game would level up our head coach again, and because our defense has been struggling recently, I think I'm going to max out linebackers and defensive backs, at least in the tactician categories. We are now back up to a top 10 team in the nation. Utah is ahead of us, even though we beat them earlier in the season, though. And in terms of conference play, we are number 1. TCU did lose, so we did jump them. And even though we are a decent overall, higher than U of A, we're definitely jumping into this game because we cannot afford to lose to them. And just look at the setup of this stadium with the striped maroon and gold. This looks so good. We are only up by 4 points late in the fourth quarter, though. This game has been a lot closer than it should be, and we're going to get the first down and keep the chains moving. DJ Butcher is such a good player. Also, have I mentioned how awesome the Arizona State jerseys are? I mean, come on. I know I'm biased, but these jerseys look amazing. We're definitely going to give it to Kyson Brown to try to end this game. We're just going to force feed him the ball. This may be a bad move, but on 4th and 1, I'm going to go for it. We have the chance to get the field goal, but honestly, I want to get touchdown, and we're going to do that. We're going to win this game. This man, Kyson Brown, has carried us in every game that we've played, and he is a beast. Now, of course, our defense would give up a touchdown again at the end of the game, but it doesn't matter. We beat U of A, and damn, it feels good to beat them every single time we play them. I know they beat us once, but we don't talk about that. And just like that, we're playing against TCU in the Big 12 Championship. We have finally made it this far. Now, if we do lose this game, I think there is still a possibility where we don't fall out of the top 12 and make it to the playoffs. But if we do win, however, I think we may be able to clinch a first-round bye. Before jumping into our final game of the regular season, we're going to look at some stats. It looks like Sam Levitt did pretty good with only 6 interceptions this year. That's actually really well, and I think I may have thrown a couple of those, to be honest. On the rushing side of things, Kyson Brown absolutely dominated. 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. He killed it every time he played with them. And looking at our receivers, DJ Butcher had tons of touchdowns, but no receiver got over 1,000 yards. We do still have hopefully a couple games left, so I imagine at least Caleb Black will get over that. And in terms of defense, our 2 middle linebackers both had the most tackles on the team by a lot, but enough stalling as it's time to finally get into this game. And I'm excited for this game. The presentation for this looks amazing, by the way. I'm sure I've said that 1,000 times, along with our jerseys looking great too. I mean, come on, look at those things. And even with TCU having the home field advantage with us playing at AT&T Stadium in Texas, we are driving down the field, and of course Kyson Brown can hopefully cap this thing off. Of course he can. I mean, it's Kyson Brown. Come on. I'm getting way too confident on the offensive side of the ball. I'm even going for it on 4th and 4 on our side of the field. I'm getting way too confident. I need someone to humble me, but I'm going to roll to the right side. We may have nothing. We do have him open. Just catch it, please. I'm getting way too confident. And on our next drive, we're driving down again. I'm just going to direct snap it to Kyson Brown. Just hope we can get in there, and we can go into multiple possessions. And right before half, we're going to try to do the same thing. TCU would score, so I mean, it's not horrible if we don't score here, but if we can, that'd be perfect, and we do. And this is a crucial possession for TCU as they're down 28-7, and they're going to try to get the first down here. It looks like they do have it, but it looks like he may have fumbled and we got the ball. That play would be the nail in the coffin, though, as ASU has officially won the Big 12 Conference Championship, meaning that we've officially cemented ourselves into the college football playoffs, and we even got a first-round bye. We're going to be playing the winner of Oklahoma Clemson. It's surprising to see a team like Charlotte on the other side of things. And in case you're wondering, Noble Johnson, senior out of Clemson, won the Heisman as a receiver, and Kyson Brown won the best running back award. I actually was not expecting that, but he was so good this year. I mean, how could he not? And it looks like Clemson ended up winning their game, and they do have the Heisman Trophy winner, which does kind of scare me. And this is what the rest of the bracket looks like, with really the only bad teams being NC State and Charlotte. That doesn't matter as we're focused against Clemson, and they have a high overall. Going against Clemson, this is definitely going to be our most difficult game of the entire season thus far, and we're going to try to bang them over the top of the first play. I don't know what I just said, but we're going to get a huge play to go up by 7 early on. Now, our defense will give up a touchdown right back, but if you look at the defensive line of Clemson, they have 3 impact players, so I know running in this game is going to be very difficult, and yeah, we're going to get blown up probably every time. And this game is going exactly as I expected. Even though we are down by 4 in the second half, this has been a really tough game so far. We're going to try to get a quick play to Downs. He's going to hold on to the ball. Without being able to run much because of the Clemson defensive line, this game has been a lot more difficult than trying to move the ball down the field. And with us taking the lead on that last possession, we're looking to extend our lead even more, but we need to make sure we can do that, and we're barely going to get in there. This defensive line is insane, by the way. And on a crucial 3rd and 15 to keep this drive alive, I'm going to step back. I don't see anything. I'm just going to take off. We're going to hope we get the block. We get the block. Are we going to be able to make it through? We barely do it. Don't fumble. Thank you. And the only thing that sucks is I do not trust my defense not to give up a touchdown, so I feel like we have to score a touchdown even though we're in the driver's seat right now. Now, this is a crucial field goal for us to pick up, because if we miss it, all they need is a field goal to tie the game, and we're barely going to make it in. That's way too scary. I really don't know if it's a better idea for me to simulate this or play it, because either way, I feel like we're screwed on defense, but they do need a touchdown, which is the only thing really saving us, and we could have had the pick on the first play. What is he doing? Just like that, they're almost at midfield, and we're going to try to get a pick maybe on this play, and we're going to get it. That should have been on the play before, but we're going to get the pick, maybe pick 6, and we should be able to walk away with the victory for this game. And that was a hard-fought first-round game for us. Oh, man, and we have another difficult game as we're playing second-ranked LSU. And their overall is also really good with their defense being a 91. This is going to be difficult. But this is what the bracket looks like with the winner of this game either playing Notre Dame or Penn State. Oh, my gosh, and I thought Clemson was difficult. Literally the entire defensive box for LSU as impact players We may have to focus on the passing game, but this is a good first play, actually. Last game, we had to pass a lot more than I would like, so if we can get gains like that for the majority of this one, I may run as much as I possibly can, especially with Kyson Brown. He's amazing. Our drive would unfortunately stall out towards the red zone. We're going to get a good kick and at least go up by 3. Later on in the second quarter, we would find ourselves down by 4 points, but if we get Butcher on the left side, we're going to have it. We're going to take the lead back. I got to say, DJ Butcher is an absolute unit at wide receiver. So far during this game, I have been trying to make our drives last as long as possible because I do not want LSU getting the ball, and luckily they keep leaving me open for these quarterback runs. I don't know where Kyson Brown is, but we're going to give it to our backup running back and hope he can get in. We just barely snuck in there. Now, we were able to kill a decent amount of clock, but they still do have 2 minutes to drive down and get something done. We're just going to make sure we don't give up a touchdown. They do have all their timeouts. They are using one there, and they are starting to drive down the field now. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous, but we're going to get the user pick. Thank you. But I might risk everything here and try to throw it and catch them off guard, and we're going to have DJ Butcher on the left side. Just make that throw. As long as he made it, we should be good. And he's going to break the tackle, and we're going to get the touchdown. That should be the end of the game. It is great seeing the team celebrate a big win over a top 10 opponent. But none of that matters now, as it looks like Penn State did beat Notre Dame, meaning we're playing the #1 team in the championship. And every single team that we've played so far has had a higher overall than us. And there's a good look right there at the national championship trophy. And with this being the national championship, this will be the last game of the rebuild, no matter if we win or lose. Meaning that my entire rebuild comes down to this game right here and whether I successfully rebuilt the Arizona State Sun Devils or not. So far throughout the first half, our defense has done a good job of holding the Nittany Lions, but they are going to try to move down the field here. We're going to get a big tackle, almost a sack. And in the second half, Penn State is driving down after scoring a touchdown, so they do have a chance to take the lead on here. Hopefully we can get a crucial 3rd down stop. We're doing zone. They're going to have a guy open over the middle. Just make the hit, and he dropped it. Thank you. And this game is completely flipped on its head as we are now down by 7 points in the 4th quarter with not a lot of time left. And I'm just going to try to keep things on the ground, keep it simple. It has been difficult to pass throughout this game because my offensive line does not give me barely any time to throw the ball. And on 4th down, it could all come down to this. We need to try to get 4 yards, which isn't a lot, but we haven't been able to do much, and thank you, Mateo. All right, we are moving the ball down the field pretty effectively, but I don't want to score with too much time on the clock, and I also need to score at the same time, and I can't give it up. And on 3rd and 6, we're going to look for downs on the slant over the middle. We might have them. I'm just going to go up a little bit. I can't even think about what I'm saying. 4th and 1, this might be the last play of the game. I don't know what to do. They're playing the run, but I think in these situations, we have to give it to our best player. And we're going to have to live and die by Kyson Brown because we're going to give it to him on 4th and 1, and he has a hole, and we're going to tie the game, hopefully. Now, these kicks are not guaranteed, so let me focus, and we may have missed it. Oh my gosh, I thought we missed it for a second. In case you don't know what the overtime rules are, here they are real quick. And it's crazy to think that our first overtime game is coming in the national championship. Now, we did lose the coin toss, putting us on offense first, and we're going to try to get things going on the ground with Kyson first. We don't have to worry about clock or anything like that anymore. Now, because we do have the ball first, it is vital that we score a touchdown here because our defense is going to have to stop them after this. And he dropped the ball. It may all come down to this 3rd and goal, and I may go to Mateo yet again. We're not going to have anybody open. We're going to break a tackle. We're just going to run up. And I don't know how we got that. I am at a loss of words. That was a beautiful play. It is now up to Penn State to try and match what our offense just did. And I'm confident they're going to be able to do that. And on the first play, they're going to get unbelievable. All right, well, in double overtime now, what a terrible way to start the first one. We're going to try the exact same thing again. He tested me, and I didn't get it. He didn't catch the ball. 2nd and goal. They only need a couple more yards. They might throw underneath. Oh my gosh, he almost got the pick. This game is going to give me a heart attack. We're on 3rd and goal now. We need to get a stop. This is big. They may have a player open on the side. What a play. Okay, they are going for it on 4th and goal. This is crucial. I didn't know you weren't able to kick a field goal in the second overtime. That might have been one of the new rules that I was unaware of. And we're going to get the interception. We might be able to take this back. If we can get that block, we didn't get the block that we needed. The one block we needed. That's okay. That's okay. All right, we're going to try to simplify things a little bit. Penn State did nothing but pass on theirs. We're going to keep the ball on the ground a little bit and get at least some good yardage on that run there. This game has been absolutely insane. I think I want to throw it on the 2nd down. I'm really hoping they blitz and leave downs open, and this could be the end of the game. They aren't going to do that, but we're going to take off up the middle, getting a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line just about. This game has been absolutely insane. We're going to look for DJ Butcher on the left side. They aren't going to do man-to-man. We are going to try to take off the middle, and we're going to win this game. I can't believe it. Holy shit. What an insane way to end this rebuild. I cannot believe that game went to double overtime. That was one of the most stressful games I have ever played. Shout out to Sam Levitt, by the way, Michigan State transfer. Hopefully he does this in real life. But there it is, holding up the trophy. It looks so good. This presentation is amazing. I can't believe we won that game. That was way too stressful. I'm losing years off of my life doing these videos. And there you have it, the completion of my first rebuild on College Football 25 with my alma mater, ASU. Of course, I had to pick them with the first team that I was rebuilding in the new game. This rebuild was extremely difficult, and I'm excited for rebuilds in the future. So please feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know what team you want me rebuilding next.